When I was at school, I didn't really get science. I mean, I didn't understand it. I went to school in a time when science and arts were quite separate. And if you were doing one, you probably weren't committed to doing the other. But it was more than that. It was just I couldn't get my brain around it. And it seemed just so abstract. Now, I did sit higher chemistry and I actually did quite well. But I absolutely knew that at no time during that course did I have any proper knowledge of anything we were being taught. I was just learning it by rote. I would learn what was in the textbook and then I would parrot it back in an exam. And I had always believed that, science just wasn't for me. And then I began to become a little bit obsessed with natural dyeing and the way that you can get colour from plants. And I'm particularly interested in local plants. And a lot of those are ones that there's not been an awful lot of research done because they're not kind of the 5 main sort of like commercial dye plants. They're ones that would have been probably used because people, I'm pretty sure, would have used what they had around them, but not within a society that documented everything. It would have been an oral tradition, so on. But it very quickly became clear to me that the way to get strong colours, fast colours, to make the most of your materials is to know a bit of science. Because it's all about pH and heat and the compounds that are in your plant and how they will react to different conditions and how you can kind of manipulate what they look like or how fast they are or how deep the colours are by a little bit of chemistry. And it does make me realise that had I been taught science in a very different way, had I been shown that it could combine with creativity, that there was practical reasons for all of these equations, that there was life beyond the very dull experiments that we did in the science labs, then I think I would have been fascinated. So, in the Studio Club, this kind of season, we have been exploring trees, and everything that I have been creating in terms of content, videos, tutorials and so on, has been related to trees in some way. Mainly UK native trees. There's a big emphasis on the ones that grow near me, because, I'm writing this stuff. And I put together this kind of dye experiment here that you can see me doing in the video to show the different parts of tree bark. That just saying, oh, you can dye with tree bark isn't actually accurate. You get very different results from different types. So I thought, well, we'll look at the different types of bark and we'll do it through the fact that I'm obsessed with natural dye. And people will learn how to dye with tree bark, but also they'll learn a little bit about trees. So if you're a natural dyer, you get something out of it. If you just want to know about trees, you get something out of it. And this is what I'm doing in video. But actually, I think this is a plea for science in schools to be much broader, much more interesting. But also, for people, if you think you were terrible at science at school, maybe you weren't. Maybe it's just that it wasn't taught in a way that interests you. Maybe it's something to revisit. Maybe you could go and do some natural dyeing, or some gardening, or some glass blowing, or something, and just become obsessed with science along the way.